Have you ever felt like the universe was trying to send you a sign, but you weren't sure how to read it? Maybe a number keeps showing up on your receipts, clocks, or dreams. That's not just coincidence. That's a signal. In the second week of April 2025, 6 powerful numbers are standing out, not just as lottery picks, but as spiritual markers. They carry ancient wisdom rooted in Buddhist teachings, pointing you toward not just wealth, but peace, clarity, and balance. Because here's the truth. You can win the lottery and still feel broke inside. Real abundance isn't about chasing money. It's about aligning with meaning. So if you're feeling stuck in the same old loop, or if something in your gut says this month could be different, trust that. This video is your sign to reset your mindset, and maybe even your future. To kick off this journey, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an insight. And here's your challenge. Comment below. I welcome growth and harmony into my life. By doing this, you're already shifting your energy toward abundance. Ready? Let's dive into the 6 numbers that could transform your path. Part 1. Number 11. The master number of intuition and higher prosperity. Number 11 isn't just another figure. It's known as a master number in numerology. It symbolizes intuition, spiritual awakening, and the rare ability to see beyond the surface. It's the kind of number that shows up when the universe is nudging you to look deeper, to stop relying solely on logic and start trusting your inner wisdom. In Buddhist philosophy, this kind of inner listening is closely tied to sati, mindfulness. When we are mindful, we don't just react to life. We notice, we observe, and slowly, the noise of the world fades, allowing the quiet voice within us to come through. That voice, that's your intuition. And number 11 is its megaphone. Let me tell you about Lisa, a 54-year-old woman who had worked as a nurse for decades. She was practical, steady, and never one to take financial risks. But one day, she had a dream that wouldn't leave her alone. In it, she saw herself painting, smiling, and surrounded by colors. Odd, she thought. She hadn't painted since high school. Still, that dream planted a seed. Days later, while scrolling through Facebook, an ad popped up. Start your own art business from home. Something in her said, click it. So she did. Fast forward 2 years, Lisa's side hustle as an artist now brings in more income than her previous full-time job. All because she listened, not to the noise of the world that said, it's too late, but to the quiet whisper inside that said, try. That's number 11 in action. The Buddhist lens, intuition through mindfulness. From a Buddhist perspective, intuition isn't magic, it's awareness. When we cultivate mindfulness through meditation, breath work, or present moment attention, we become more attuned to patterns, emotions, and subtle cues that others miss. These cues aren't always loud. In fact, they're usually quiet, like a nudge, a gut feeling, or a sense of being drawn to something for no clear reason. Number 11 reminds us that sometimes the wisest decisions aren't the most logical ones. They're the most aligned. So how do you start tapping into this energy? Practical takeaway. Trust your inner whispers. Pause before every major decision. Take a breath, get quiet, and ask yourself, what feels right? Not just looks right. Journal your instincts. When you get a gut feeling, write it down. Over time, you'll see a pattern and build trust in your own wisdom. Limit the noise. Unplug regularly. The quieter the world around you, the louder your intuition becomes. Number 11 is your reminder. The universe doesn't shout. It whispers. And when you learn to listen, prosperity finds you in the most unexpected ways. Are you ready to start trusting that inner voice? Part 2. Number 1. A bold beginning to break old cycles. Number 1 is the number of beginnings. It doesn't just whisper a new chapter is coming. It boldly declares, it's time to start. In numerology, this number represents leadership, initiative, and the courage to carve your own path. Financially, it speaks to independence, the kind that isn't handed to you, but built through decisive action and trust in your own potential. The number 1 appears in your life when it's time to break away from limiting beliefs, outdated habits, and old financial patterns. It's not just a number, it's an invitation to start fresh, to rewrite your money story, to lead your life, not follow someone else's script. Take Michael, a 57-year-old electrician who had spent years living paycheck to paycheck. When COVID hit, work dried up. For a while, he felt stuck, overwhelmed, and unsure if he'd ever get back on his feet. Then one evening, while helping his neighbor install a smart home system, he realized how many people needed help with basic tech setups, especially seniors. That moment was a spark. He created a simple flyer offering at-home tech help for older adults and began handing it out at grocery stores and coffee shops. Within 6 months, he had so many clients he had to turn people away. Today, his side business brings in more than his previous full-time job, and he sets his own hours. Michael didn't reinvent the wheel. He simply took initiative, something number 1 demands. He stopped waiting for the right moment and made the moment right. Buddhist wisdom, right effort, and courageous change. In the Eightfold Path of Buddhism, right effort means putting your energy into things that reduce suffering and lead to growth. It's not about working harder, it's about working wiser. When it comes to finances, right effort calls for conscious, focused energy directed at meaningful change. That might mean letting go of spending habits that no longer serve you, learning something new even when it feels uncomfortable, taking action even when you don't feel 100% ready. Buddhism teaches that effort rooted in awareness, not fear, is transformative. Reset exercise, 3 simple steps to break the cycle. 1. Identify one old habit to release. Maybe it's impulse spending. Maybe it's procrastinating on budgeting. Write it down and thank it for what it once taught you. But let it go. 2. Start one bold action today. Open a savings account. Launch that Etsy shop. Sell the unused items in your house. Momentum starts with one brave step. 3. Create a weekly ritual. Every Sunday, spend 15 minutes reviewing your finances and writing one goal for the week. Keep it simple, consistent, and focused. Number 1 reminds you, you are the author of your next chapter. This week, don't wait for a miracle. Be the miracle. What's one bold step you can take today to begin again? Part 3. Number 24. Harvesting the seeds of karma and patience. In numerology, number 24 is often seen as a powerful blend of balance, maturity, and long-term fulfillment. It doesn't scream with urgency. It speaks with wisdom. This is the number that shows up when the seeds you've planted, through patience, right choices, and steady effort, are finally starting to bloom. Where numbers like 1 and 11 may call you to take bold leaps, 24 is the quiet confirmation that you're on the right path. It carries the energy of completion, harmony, and karmic reward. Spiritually, it's like the moment in meditation when your breath and your mind are finally in sync. It's calm, grounded, and deeply satisfying. Meet Rosa, a retired teacher in her early 60s. She never made a lot of money during her career, but she always set aside a small amount each month, sometimes just $25, to invest in a long-term mutual fund. It didn't feel like much at the time, and she often wondered if it was even worth the effort. Fast forward 30 years. Rosa now lives debt-free, travels once a year, and has enough saved to support both herself and her grandchildren's education. She didn't hit the jackpot overnight. She built it slowly, with patience and intention. That's the essence of 24. Quiet, consistent action that eventually brings abundance, not just financial, but emotional and spiritual as well. Buddhist insight, right action, and the law of karma. In Buddhism, the concept of right action is a central element of the Eightfold Path. It means acting in ways that are ethical, mindful, and rooted in compassion, not just toward others, but toward yourself and your future. Every small conscious choice is a karmic seed, and over time, those seeds grow. Number 24 aligns with this truth. It reminds us that good fortune doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from integrity. Wealth is not measured by how much you have, but how aligned your actions are with your values. Just like Rosa, your quiet, disciplined choices matter. They build the foundation for true wealth, the kind that lasts. Gratitude practice. Journal your journey. One powerful way to honor the energy of 24 is through gratitude journaling. Instead of obsessing over what you don't have yet, start by reflecting on how far you've come. Try this tonight. Write down 3 things you're proud of financially. Name one lesson you learned from a past mistake. Celebrate one small win from this week, no matter how tiny. By focusing on progress instead of perfection, you train your mind to see abundance, not lack. And the more you see it, the more you attract it. Number 24 whispers, slow growth is still growth. Quiet progress is still victory. You don't need to rush. You just need to keep planting seeds and trust that your harvest is already on the way. Part 4. Number 12. Living in harmony with the rhythms of life. The number 12 is everywhere. 12 months in a year, 12 hours on a clock, 12 signs in the zodiac. It's not just a coincidence. 12 is a symbol of cosmic order, natural rhythm, and the structure that holds life together. In numerology and spiritual traditions, number 12 represents wholeness through cycles. It reminds us that everything in life, joy, sorrow, growth, rest, comes in phases. And when we learn to flow with these cycles, instead of resisting them, we find peace. The secret isn't to control time, it's to dance with it. The 12 Nidanas, how Buddhism explains our choices. In Buddhism, the number 12 holds deep meaning through the 12 Nidanas, the links of dependent origination. These represent the chain of cause and effect that shapes all our experiences. In simple terms, they show how our thoughts, actions, and habits are all connected. For example, craving leads to attachment. Attachment leads to suffering. Ignorance leads to unwise decisions. Understanding these links helps us realize that every choice we make today ripples into tomorrow, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. When we become more mindful of this chain, we start making choices that align with peace, not chaos. Daily life, inner peace, a personal reflection. Think about your daily routine. Is it rushed, reactive, and scattered? Or is it intentional, flowing, and balanced? Sophia, a 62-year-old grandmother, once said something beautiful. When I stopped chasing time, I finally had enough of it. She used to wake up feeling behind before the day even started. But after adopting a morning routine that included 10 minutes of meditation, a cup of tea in silence, and a quick money check-in, her life shifted. Her days became calmer. She became more present with her grandkids, more focused in her spending, and less anxious overall. It wasn't magic, it was rhythm. Number 12 invites you to ask, are your days in harmony with your values? Does your schedule reflect what truly matters to you? Building harmony in 3 key areas. 1. Financial life. Set recurring check-ins, weekly or monthly. Automate savings. Create structure that supports growth instead of chaos. 2. Family life. Schedule time for connection. Family dinners, check-in calls, shared activities. Relationships need rhythm to thrive. 3. Inner life. Establish daily rituals. Even 5 minutes of mindfulness each morning or evening can ground you deeply. Harmony isn't about perfection. It's about consistency and intentional flow. Number 12 teaches us, life isn't linear, it's a loop. When we align with life's natural cycles and respect our own energy, we stop resisting and start receiving. True peace comes when your calendar, your money, and your heart are finally on the same page. Part 5. Number 7. The sacred middle path in your financial journey. The number 7 holds a sacred place across many spiritual traditions. In Christianity, it's the number of divine perfection. In Hinduism, 7 chakras govern the body's energy. And in Buddhism, the number 7 symbolizes spiritual awakening and inner wisdom, a deep reminder that true peace is found not in extremes, but in balance. In numerology, 7 is the seeker. It asks questions others overlook. It looks inward while the world chases outward success. And when it shows up in your life, it often means it's time to reevaluate your relationship with money. Not just how much you earn, but how that wealth aligns with your inner world. Because here's the truth. You can have a full bank account and an empty soul. Let's talk about Daniel. In his late 50s, he had built a successful business, owned 2 properties, and had more than enough to retire early. On paper, he had 1. But he was exhausted. He worked 12-hour days, had little time for his family, and couldn't remember the last time he'd had a proper vacation. His health was deteriorating, and he felt numb. One night, after missing his granddaughter's birthday dinner for a client call, something snapped. He stepped back, hired help, and cut his hours in half. He began spending his mornings in meditation, walking in nature, and cooking with his wife again. 6 months later, he wasn't just richer financially. He was richer in joy, clarity, and connection. That's the lesson of number 7. When you balance your ambition with rest, your wealth becomes meaningful. Buddhist perspective, the middle way to financial peace. The Buddha taught the middle way, a life lived between indulgence and deprivation. Not too much, not too little, just enough. Applied to your finances, that means don't overspend, but don't hoard. Don't chase risky gains, but don't live in fear of investment. Don't ignore your future, but don't forget to enjoy your present. Number 7 encourages you to look at your financial behaviors and ask, am I living in balance or reacting from fear or desire? Key insight. Balance is the real abundance. You can make $1 million and still feel poor if you're constantly stressed, disconnected, or spiritually empty. And you can earn modestly but feel incredibly wealthy if your time, money, and energy flow in harmony with your values. Ask yourself, do your spending habits align with what brings real joy? Are your investments reflecting your priorities? Is your work-life balance honoring your health and relationships? Number 7 reminds us, financial success means nothing if it costs you your peace. When you walk the sacred middle path, balancing income with intention, action with rest, you don't just attract abundance, you become it. Part 6, Number 29, Unlocking Hidden Creative Wealth. Number 29 may not be as commonly discussed as 7 or 11, but its energy is just as powerful, and in many ways, even more personal. It represents creative awakening, personal expression, and the unlocking of talents that often lie dormant, waiting to be rediscovered. Unlike numbers that focus purely on logic, structure, or discipline, 29 whispers to your soul, asking, what if your hidden gifts could become the very source of your abundance? In numerology, 2 and 9 combine the energy of intuition and completion, suggesting that the fulfillment you seek may already exist within you. It simply needs a voice, a space, and permission to shine. Meet Helen, a 63-year-old widow living on a modest pension. For years, she believed her best days were behind her. Her daily routine was simple: some gardening, watching TV, and visiting her daughter once a week. But deep down, something felt missing. One day, while cleaning her attic, she stumbled upon her old sketchbooks. They were filled with charcoal drawings from her youth, portraits, animals, even fantasy landscapes. She hadn't drawn in over 40 years. On a whim, she picked up a pencil and began sketching again. The peace it brought her was instant. Eventually, she posted a few drawings online. To her surprise, they caught attention. A friend suggested opening a small Etsy store, and within 6 months, Helen had over 200 sales, custom orders, and was teaching online classes from her living room. It wasn't just about the income. It was about reviving a part of herself she had buried. That's the energy of number 29. Your creativity isn't just decoration, it's currency. And more importantly, it's your connection to joy, meaning, and flow. Buddhist wisdom: peace fuels creation. Buddhism teaches that peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This is deeply aligned with number 29's message. When you are at peace, your true self begins to emerge, and so does your creativity. Creativity thrives not under pressure, but in presence. When your mind is calm, your heart opens. When your heart opens, ideas flow. Whether it's painting, writing, gardening, cooking, or inventing, creation is a form of meditation, a direct line to your inner richness. Reflection. Prompt: what are you ignoring? What hidden talent have you buried because it felt impractical? What passion did you love as a child, but forgot in the noise of adult life? Maybe that hobby wasn't silly. Maybe it was sacred. Maybe it wasn't random. It was your calling waiting patiently. Number 29 is your permission slip to explore, express, and evolve. Don't wait until you have time or feel ready. Start today. Dust off that old sketchbook, open that instrument case, write that story. The wealth you're chasing might already live inside you, and now is the time to set it free. You've just walked through 6 sacred numbers, each carrying a lesson not just about wealth, but about wisdom. From the bold spark of number 1 to the deep balance of number 7 and the creative magic of number 29, these aren't just digits. They're reminders that your financial journey is also a spiritual one. The truth? Abundance isn't just about what's in your wallet. It's about what's in your mind, your heart, and your daily choices. It's how you lead yourself when no one's watching, how you spend, save, and share in alignment with your values. Whether you're beginning again, seeking balance, or rediscovering a hidden gift, this week is your moment. So ask yourself, which number spoke to you the loudest? Drop it in the comments and tell us what step you're taking next. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay connected to this journey of wisdom and transformation. The path is already beneath your feet. Now, take that first step with intention.